And now, a brand new episode of the Script to Screen News Hour here on Radio Lebanon 96.2 FM with hosts Alan Mahana and Had Solo. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Script to Screen. Hello screeners, Alan Mahana here. Today is Saturday, October 27th, and here we are ending another week filled with happenings across the film and serialized content industries. With Luke Cage and Iron Fist canceled last week, the Netflix MCU fans continue to fear the worst for their favorite heroes and anti-heroes. More rumors arise regarding Disney's plans for their streaming service, including shows centered around some of the already established MCU heroes. December seems to be the possible date for the Avengers 4 trailer, or so say the little birds floating around. And the most worrying news of them all is that legendary composer John Williams was hospitalized earlier this week. And we here at Script to Screen send out our thoughts and prayers to the Williams family and hope that he recovers in the best way possible. All this and more on this brand new episode of Script to Screen that I, of course, cannot do it alone without the solo to my Chewbacca, Had Solo.
Hey there, buddy. How are you today?
Oh, I am doing grand.
Great. It's another full of action, full of news, full of, adventure stories on Script to Screen.
It's great. Yeah. It's definitely very, very interesting. There's so much to cover today. We have a fantastic guest coming up in the next segment. One of the representatives from the Maskoun Film Festival, which is a fantasy and horror film festival that occurs here in Lebanon annually. But first,
we have something new.
We have a very new thing this week.
Yeah.
It is not a movie of the week,
nope,
but a TV show of the week.
It is a TV show.
We are expanding.
Yeah,
we are expanding. I cannot wait to do this because this is going to be interesting.
This is going to be fun.
We're going to do the same thing that we do every week.
Absolutely.
We're going to dig deep. We're going to talk about this TV show. Or is it serialized?
Yeah, serialized
content. We are going to be covering the one and only season 3 of Netflix's Daredevil. So without much further ado, here we go. The TV show of the week, Netflix's Daredevil.
Because I've tried to make this city a better place. I will tell the world who you really are. Someone who's now showing his true colors.
Sometimes you have to hurt one person for the greater good.
The city needs a new villain. I think I might have found him.
According to eyewitnesses, the brutal attack has been carried out by none other than Daredevil.
Wow.
Here we go.
Wow.
Here we go. What an epic third season it was.
What a good show. What a fantastic show.
Amazing. What a great comeback from season 2. That was not that, it was good, but it wasn't as great as the first season.
Yeah.
A lot of people keep saying, I keep seeing this everywhere, that season 3 started off slow. I don't know what people, I don't see where they're seeing that. I loved the pacing of this season, honestly. Okay, so let's dig right in. Do you want to kind of start off?
Why not? This show was truly fantastic. I had a blast watching it. Mm-hmm. I couldn't stop watching. Like the times I had to leave the house, I would be super angry because I wanted to know what was going to happen. So as you said, people were saying that it kicks off slowly. I don't think so. There's very good character development in the show.
So much character development.
So they're layered, they're structured, they're very interesting characters. And unlike most Netflix shows, specifically within the MCU, what I liked is that there are 13 episodes and each episode serves a purpose. In other series, excuse me, sometimes you just think, why did they could have shortened it to 8 episodes? No, the 13 episodes work. Kingpin.
Is there a specific series that you're thinking of?
Luke Cage, Iron Fist were a bit too long. Jessica Jones was a bit too long. This worked perfectly. For
absolutely.
me.
I thought, yeah.
And the performances, I cannot but praise every single performances.
Absolutely.
From Foggy to Karen Page to Kingpin.
Vincent D'Onofrio, man.
What a fantastic villain. He's in the ranks of Loki and Thanos on the MCU scale for me.
Yeah, for me, he's like the Heath Ledger's Joker in Dark Knight, kind of memorable, epic kind of villain. Yeah. I love that. For me, what worked so well with Fisk was the fact that he really doesn't seem like a villain. He doesn't play off like a villain.
True.
And this is all thanks to the fact that season 3 is very much like a political thriller. Yeah. Like it's a political conspiracy thriller, more so than it is a superhero show, because of the conspiracy that plays on. I don't want to spoil too much in case there are people that still have not seen the 3rd season. For me, it reminded me a lot, and I told you this, it reminded me a lot of Captain America Winter Soldier. Just the mood and the way things play off against Daredevil. They took the concept of Matt Murdock fighting his inner demons quite literally in the show. I mean, he was literally facing off against Daredevil, which is a very interesting visualization of what's happening internally. I loved that we got so much backstory to Karen. We saw Foggy's family. Yeah. We saw Agent Poindexter's past in a beautiful sequence.
Yes, that was very interesting.
I love that. I love that they expanded past just Matt Murdock. We saw Sister Maggie's
and I'm sorry, I'm just going to cut you off, but wow, I forgot what I was going to say.
Oh no. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. My bad.
So I love that there was like a macro story arc, but then there was also a micro story arc, which dealt more with the theme of the show, which I felt was like redemption, forgiving the past, accepting flaws, accepting that you are imperfect. Another thing that I want to applaud is the fearlessness in the screenwriting. I thought it was very fearless. Yeah. They were tackling biblical stuff. I mean, the story of Job was mentioned. Again, themes of forgiveness, prayer. Yeah. So much prayer in this season, and seeing it in something like Daredevil for me, fine, they may do it in the comics, but in a visual medium, I wasn't expecting them to go that far. But I love that. For me, it was such an extra beautiful layer, narratively speaking.
Yep. I remembered what I wanted to say when you were talking about all the characters. What I really liked is that, yes, the hero, the star is Daredevil, but there are a lot of episodes where you don't see him that much.
You barely see Matt Murdock.
Because you're truly focusing on the ensemble, the whole characters, the whole team, and that was fantastic. And there were some episodes which had specific scenes which were breathtaking, like the origin of Poindexter, or that in episode 4, and I think we've talked about this, that 15-minute prison.
It's a 10-minute long take prison fight incredible. Sequence, and it keeps you on your toes.
You cannot breathe.
So good.
It is
so good.
Wow.
And what I loved about it is that in the first season, it was that hallway sequence, right? In the second season, it was the staircase.
Yes.
This season, not only is it longer than the other 2 seasons, but it's also in a prison. And to make matters more complicated, he is not wearing anything but his face.
Yeah.
No masks, no nothing, which basically means this was one heck of a challenging sequence.
It was hard to shoot, definitely.
Because you couldn't, the switching between stunt double and actual Charlie Cox, like that had to be so smartly done, so subtly done. I noticed it in a few places where you could tell that, okay, this is where the switch is going to happen, but you're still along for the ride.
You're just in it.
You're just enjoying it. It is so intense. I mean, this season had some seriously really good fight sequences.
Absolutely.
You had that, the highway sequence, the shootout with Agent Nadeem. You had the at the Journal, at the Bulletin. You had that fight sequence, and then the prison sequence, and then the final episode
was massive. It was incredible.
So good.
Yeah, it was
so good. I thought this season visually was also fantastic. The lighting in the church and the mosaics and just beautiful. And there was a lot of usage of red, if you noticed.
Well, of course. Daredevil.
Well, yeah, but I mean, still, it's still beautiful to see when filmmakers really, again, vision. You know, they really work out and how you're getting that together.
Yeah, and the details. I love the attention to details in every single thing they do, and that's what I appreciate a lot in filmmaking or series making in this case. They went through the trouble of expanding on the characters. They went through the trouble of writing an excellent script. They went through the trouble of filming some choreographed fight sequences which were beyond incredible, which you might not even find in movies nowadays. No, they really worked hard on this show, and it shows. And I do hope that this show will survive, because with the whole dilemmas.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the whole entire dilemma with Netflix and Disney and where that's going, and with already Luke Cage and Iron Fist getting canceled, it is cause for worry. It definitely is cause for worry. I mean, I just loved this season. Yeah. I absolutely loved this season. You and I kind of disagree on that last teaser. Which I don't think
we can talk about.
No, we can't. But we slightly disagree. I liked it. It didn't bother me as much, but it bothered you.
I found it a bit forced. That's what I'll say. When people will watch it, they'll.
Maybe the final shot is forced, but everything before then, those are a bunch of Easter eggs. Because of that one particular character that has to do with other MCU characters. The link between them. I mean, we can't spoil. I'm so sorry.
It's very hard to talk about when you can't say what's going to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, again, very well done, Netflix. Very well done, Marvel. Great job. Great for the entire team. I think
absolutely
beautiful. 13 hours of serialized content.
Excellent.
For sure.
Material.
And for someone who doesn't binge, I binged the heck out of this show.
You cannot not binge.
Yeah, you really could not. Here we go. Our first guest of the show.
Yes.
Today's show. First segment.
Well, obviously today's show.
We've got a fantastic representative from the Maskoon Film Festival, which I believe opens its doors next week.
Yes, on Halloween.
Ooh,
I mean,
nice.
Could you have picked a better marketing date? I don't think so. Antoine, you're coming back now. This is the second time you've been on the show.
Yes.
The first time you guys came, it was for
we came for Reboot Production.
For Reboot Productions in general. It was you and Miriam, correct?
Yes,
right. And now you're back to so that we can talk about the Maskoun Film Festival. Yeah, exactly. This is the
which edition?
Third edition, correct? Okay, so why don't you give us a little bit of history as to how the Maskoun Film Festival came to be, and then maybe some highlights over the first and second editions, so that we can get people to know how it came to be, why it exists. I love that it exists, actually, because we don't have a lot of genre stuff in this country. But why don't you go ahead and take us through that?
Yes, actually, we're big fans of genre movies, obviously, and we wanted to do this as like our fun project, and it's the only fantastic film festival in the entire region, in the Middle East. And we launched it the first year, and we got a lot of excitement from everyone, including international guests, international festivals, and everyone thought like this was an essential festival to exist in this region. So because our background is film production, we're starting to push toward the creation of more genre movies from Lebanon mostly, and then from the Arab world, obviously. So we are doing a lot of panels, talks, a bit of industry debates and everything. And then we're selecting movies from that. The choice of movies is to pick a movie from different countries all over the world, from different genres, and that these movies would feel different than the other, at the same time have like this subtle subtext about political or social and everything. Like it's kind of genre that tells you something more.
Okay, and obviously the festival's grown a little every single edition, correct?
Yeah, it is growing. It's still the same construction, but we're like expanding. Last year we had like this big concert with bringing Fabio Frizzi, which is a composer of Lucio Fulci's Italian movies, and he did like the Beyond live scoring of the film at Music Hall.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Well, that was too big so for a second edition. So,
so what are some of the topics that you guys are going to tackle this year? Because I do know that you have something called the ALBA Debates happening, or a few debates happening at ALBA University. Can you kind of explain what those are? Because do they start before the festival does? I felt like the dates happen a little earlier. Am I wrong in this?
No, actually, the festival launches on the 31st with an opening movie.
Okay.
And then on the 1st...
okay.
Before the festival starts at Metropolis, before it starts at night, we have like from 9:30 to 5 p.m. Debates in ALBA with all our guests, and it's open to everyone, not only students, also professionals, and it's gonna feature our guests and people from the Lebanese industry of cinema. We're gonna talk about the rise of Arab genre.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about the importance of horror cinema and its political aspect. And
that's really interesting.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about film restoration and the importance of film heritage.
That's
nice.
Okay. So that's two topics that have at least really captivated my interest. You know,
the political part.
The political part of horror is something that piqued my interest, but then also film restoration.
Yeah.
There's this beautiful documentary that I've seen. It's called These Amazing Shadows, and it's all about how the U.S. went through and is still currently going through restoring some of their old films, because when the studios were first making movies, they weren't taking care of their archives as they should have. And I think for us in Lebanon, where we don't know how to take care of anything when it comes to when it comes to our heritage, I think this is an extremely important conversation when it comes to cinema. Hadi, do you have any questions?
Yeah, so who are some of the guests that people can catch at the panel at ALBA?
Yeah, the guests will be available everywhere between screenings. You can meet them and talk to them. We'll have like our jury is composed for the short films. We have a short film competition for Lebanese film. Our jury is composed from Gérald Duchossois, which is like the head of Cannes Classics. Okay. Wow. Mike Hostunch, which is the director of the CGS Film Festival. And Nicole McControversy, which is like the head of programming of Boston Underground Festival. We have Alexandre Philippe, which is a Swiss director who did, he's going to present his documentary 7852, which is like about the shower scene in Psycho.
Nice.
Yeah. So
okay.
it was at Sundance. And then he's going to do like a big Hitchcock masterclass at Metropolis.
Yeah, I remember I saw something about a Hitchcock masterclass, and you just mentioned it, because I'm a huge Hitchcock fan. Like, I love Hitchcock.
And we have two filmmakers, which is Abdelhamid Bouchnak, who did the first Tunisian horror movie that premieres at the Critics Week in Venice last September. Okay. And Damien Ounouri, who did a mid-length film from Algeria. Like, it's a rape and revenge fantasy film called Kandil. It was in Cannes a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So the film, essentially the films that are going to be screened come from, again, the MENA region itself, correct? Or is it global filmmakers?
No, it's international.
It is international, okay.
Like, we have the short film competition for Lebanese films.
Okay.
And then we have the usual, like, it's a bit of the best genre films from all over the world.
Okay.
In our lineup, for example, most of these films are really recent, so people maybe don't know all of them.
Okay.
But for example, there are 3 films that are selected by their own country to represent them for the Oscars for next year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
Which is Burning from South Korea and The Guilty, the opening film from Denmark, and Border from Sweden.
Okay. It's kind of outside of the festival, this question, but what is the, because you said a lot of people in Lebanon were excited about Maskoun, and it's kind of like its promotion of genre films. What has it been like watching genre films in Lebanon? Like, because I feel like we already have a lot of issues when it comes to films and how they're executed. You know, we do have good films that are getting made, and then we have those, the very commercial. I don't even want to give commercial that bad of a reputation. But when it comes to genre, are we seeing good Lebanese genre films?
Oh, not yet. It's a bit too early for that, because people still don't understand really the importance and the meaning of how to use genre, and this is what we're pushing for. So basically, this year we have a mid-length film that you probably saw, guys, already. It's Last Days of the Man of Tomorrow by Fadi Baki, which is a brilliant film that uses genre to talk about the memory of Lebanon and its country, and we're showing it also.
So even in the short films, we're still not seeing people really understanding the concept of genre and how it's used.
In the short films, there are like honest attempts to do that. Okay. And the form and the style is up there. Okay. But the content still needs to be worked on.
Okay, so then what would be some, because like you come from a boot production, so you're from a production company. So what are some pieces of advice you would give to filmmakers who want to maybe attempt a genre film? What are some of the things that you think they should pay attention to when they're working or developing such ideas or such concepts?
It's like it's about treat it like you treat a normal movie. Yeah. Because when you do a drama, you just tackle frontally your subject. And when you do a comedy, you just do it for laughs and everything. But genre, you can tackle the same frontal subject as the drama, but make it more subtle, hide it, make it more complex and more exciting. And we're like a virgin territory to explore in genre. And we're like a country that has a history of violent history. There's a lot of things, dramas, problems, and everything that you can take and then
mold into
a genre and put the layer on it. And then people who want to analyze and understand and discuss film will be able to get that. And then people who want to enjoy a movie just for its story will get the other aspect from it. I think genre can shake up a bit Arabic cinema in general.
I would agree.
But do you think, again, this is kind of a follow-up question to what Alan was saying, that censorship, which we've been seeing a lot recently in those genre movies, how big of an issue is it and how much of a barrier is it for these filmmakers?
I mean, censorship is still gonna be there, so you have to like play around it like you do it in other films. I mean, violence, horror is not usually something that gets censored. Like, the rules. Like, you don't go into religion, you don't go into explicit sex and everything, and then you're okay. But then I don't believe people should auto-censor themselves. They should do the film they want to do, and then if it needs to be censored, then they'll deal with it at the time. But if you do a good movie, it's not a movie that you're targeting the really small Lebanese audience. I mean, you're intended to do a movie that targets
the whole
world. So this is why I don't think censorship is something people should really be too scared of. But just don't go and do stuff you're gonna be censored. Like you know where you go. Don't go into the extremes.
You don't go anywhere.
Antoine, why don't we really quickly go through the who, what, where, and how of the festival real quick, just to remind our audience where they can go to access the films, or if they need to purchase tickets, or et cetera, just so that is out there and that is clear when the festival starts, when it ends, and all that good stuff.
Well, the festival starts 31 October and it closes on November 4 with a cine concert by film restoration expert Serge Bromberg, who's gonna do a Retour de Flamme, which is a cine concert where he's gonna pick a selection of short films he restored and play piano and tell you the story of the films. And the tickets are on sale already at Metropolis for the festival. Individual tickets, festival pass, and cine concert tickets are available starting today.
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
Well, if you guys want to enjoy a few days of genre films and some great masterclasses and debates, make sure you check out the Maskoon Film Festival and go to Metropolis Cinema to purchase either your festival pass or your individual passes. Antoine, thank you so much for coming back and shedding light on the Maskoon Film Festival. I'm sure you and Miriam will be back on the show eventually. You always have stuff to talk about, and we love collaborating with you guys because I love Boot Productions causes 100%. You know, promoting of independent Lebanese cinema is something that we really need. So thank you so much.
Best of luck with the festival, and I'm sure it's going to be another hit.
And the news keeps rolling in. The news. So much stuff.
A lot.
So much stuff.
Something bad.
There's so much stuff to the point where we finally have a news story that pits Mr. Solo and Mr. Chewbacca
on two ends.
On two ends of the spectrum, with complete disagreement. It's not that drastic, but those moments are rare on this show, and this is why we savor them.
Yeah,
so much.
The debate is always fun. The conversation is nice.
The conversation is nice, but the debate creates good show material.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here is the first, our focus story of this segment. As you can tell, the more we grow with the show, the more everything becomes organized and everything has a label, and So this is the focus story of this segment. And it is the headline, Disney is considering a reboot of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, without Johnny Depp, without the character of Jack Sparrow, and with the writers from Deadpool.
Yes.
So
go for it.
Should we start with me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I am completely against this idea so much. For me, the franchise is done. That's it. Disney had its time with Pirates of the Caribbean, but it's done. They've told 5 stories with this film. Slowly, the box office numbers have fizzled, and they weren't all on par with the first film, which is for me still one of the best, not one of the, but the best Pirates of the Caribbean entry. I also believe that Pirates of the Caribbean is now way bigger than the franchise. It is Jack Sparrow, because Jack Sparrow is, for me, in Pirates of the Caribbean, that character has become so iconographical that when you think Pirates of the Caribbean, think Jack Sparrow. You don't think Will, you don't think Elizabeth, you don't think anybody else.
True.
It's Jack Sparrow. It's like saying Star Wars without thinking Vader, or without thinking Luke or Leia or Han. And that, for me, the evidence is clear with the new Star Wars films that it doesn't always work when you take these characters completely out of it. Yes, you can tell good stories, but they're not always as successful. And I believe that the universe of Pirates of the Caribbean at this point belongs to the fans. You can jump in with a rebuttal. I have more points to say, but you get your piece, and then we'll jump back and I'll say some stuff.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
Look, you're right about Johnny Depp. I agree. I believe he was Oscar nominated for the first film. But for me, it's not a problem. I think I've always loved pirates. I've always loved these kinds of stories.
Sure.
Forget Pirates of the Caribbean, but I'm talking about pirates in general. And we don't have enough pirate films.
Yeah.
The only things we've watched for the past, let's say 10 years or since the first one came out has been Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
So why not dig deeper into this, if you want, universe with new characters, with new stories, with new adventures? There doesn't have to be links to the original story. It can take place within, the ocean and the islands, and with these pirates stealing chests with the parrots and army mighties. It could be fun. And with the writers of Deadpool, I think they can bring that kind of wit to new characters that we will love and enjoy. You're right. The franchise as it is right now with this cast, I think finito, capiche, done, no more. But I do think that there is an option of doing more pirate movies, seeing different storylines, different stories, different things, more adventures. As a kid, I used to read a lot of pirate books left and right, and they were fun. So why not? I mean, I'm not against the idea.
But okay. But here's the thing, though. Like, it's like I can't even. I'm at a loss for words. But why not tackle just like something completely new? Why does it have to be Pirates of the Caribbean? I'm at a point with Disney where I'm just like, you guys need to step away. You know, you need to listen to Kylo Ren and let the past die. Forget the past if you're ever going to grow and become the Disney that you were meant to become. At this point, they're relying too much on the past. And if they want to reboot Pirates of the Caribbean, don't reboot it almost a year after you just released a movie with Jack Sparrow, with Will and Elizabeth, and you ended it in a way that is a cliffhanger almost. You know, like if they just hire the writers, that means in 2 years they're gonna probably release
a new one,
which basically means that it's been 4 years since the last Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not enough time for a reboot. This is what annoyed me in the superhero genre. This is what annoyed me with the Spider-Mans. Like, we got like Tobey Maguire, then there was like a big gap, and then you got The Amazing Spider-Man. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then the Disney Fox deal happened, or not Fox, Sony deal happened, and then almost like a year later, we got Homecoming. And it was just like, we didn't even mourn Andrew Garfield. Not that we needed to mourn Andrew Garfield.
But look at what happened with Homecoming. It was successful. I'm
not saying that it wasn't, but I'm just saying it's a little too much too soon.
I don't have an issue with the time. Maybe it's because I'm not a very hardcore fan of the franchise. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen like 3 maybe so maybe I'm not that attached as much as you are.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen every single one.
I mean, I did enjoy Johnny Depp in the movie, and I know initially he wasn't the big star in the film. It was Will, and it was
it was Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley.
And he was a supporting character, and then bye-bye Orlando, bye-bye Keira, and hello Johnny. And he made it successful, and he made a character that we can love. But I do believe that, again, you can create new characters that are as fun, that have different stories and different backstories and are layered. And again, infinite adventures on sea, on ships, so with rum.
I don't like it, Arg.
All right, it's okay.
I mean, I am extremely hesitant about accepting this. It doesn't make me too happy, but I guess we'll, again, as we normally do with these topics, we'll just have to wait and see.
Absolutely, wait and see.
Arr. Drink up, my heart is yo-ho. See, I can't. It's Jack Sparrow, man. It's Jack Sparrow.
It's a pirate's life.
For me. Okay. In other, I guess we're done.
Yeah.
We'll say that this will cease fire at this point.
I mean, there was never fire. It was just a friendly
debate.
Friendly debate.
Friendly, non-toxic conversation.
Exactly. It wasn't toxic. Absolutely.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
I hate you.
Draw your sword now, matey. Okay, so in other news, Wonder Woman 1984 has been delayed until summer of 2020. Now, rumors regarding this delay, I just read this. There are rumors regarding this delay because they're working on restructuring the narrative in one way or another to kind of let it be the Flashpoint entry.
Okay. I did not read that.
Which is extremely confusing considering Flashpoint has to do with the Flash and not Wonder Woman.
Yeah, but maybe he'll travel back to 1984 and pop up from at the end of the movie or something. I don't know. What I had read initially is that, which I think is BS, honestly, that they wanted to release the movie in the time slot as the first, which I don't think so. They're getting their stuff together. Whatever they're doing, I think it's with the whole cancellation of Superman and Batman. I think they're reorganizing themselves. So whether it is a Flashpoint entry or it is doing something else, they do have to. This character is a character people loved and enjoyed as a Wonder Woman. And I don't think she's going anywhere.
No.
There's not going to be a recasting or anything. They're going to keep using Gal Gadot. And so they're figuring out what to do next, especially with the whole Aquaman film coming out in November. So that's another character they're going to see.
They're going to be testing the waters.
Oh, nice. And we'll see Jack Sparrow. No. Okay,
no.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I'm hoping that all of these switcheroos and all this organization that DC is doing and I think we spoke about this the last time, that's a like full on reboot that they're doing of the worlds of DC. I hope that this is a step in the right direction. I hope that, that they do get to a point where they fix the mess that they've made from the DC films. I know the Titans TV series, which had a lot of people hesitant in the beginning, has a pretty decent score on Rotten Tomatoes now. It's like at 83, 84%. And I've seen the first 2 episodes. First one was very rocky. I was like, okay, nope, this is another Suicide Squad shamble. I watched episode 2.
Better.
Huge, immensely better.
Okay.
A lot of Easter eggs. I mean, the character Robin actually speaks to Alfred, and it's like it digs a lot deeper, and the acting gets a lot better, and the situation fixes itself. It's just a really choppy first episode.
Okay.
But I'm excited. I'm kind of excited to see where it moves from there. Which apparently it does get a lot better, and it does justice to the Teen Titans.
To the league.
To the Teen League. Continuing on with, superheroes, Disney, Fox, and, what have you. Not only are there rumors surrounding Dark Phoenix, X-Men Dark Phoenix, and the possibility that it'll be the first Fox Disney release, which is what we've been thinking it was going to be with all these delays and all that stuff. So it isn't completely far off from what we were thinking. There are also horrible rumors that also solidify a lot of our fears that we expressed earlier on.
At the very first.
In the very beginning, before everything became so official, which is that Disney would start shoving away certain franchises and certain movies that belong to Fox. Namely the Kingsman films, because there were supposed to be a lot of spin-offs and everything. Now Kingsman 3 is in post-production or pre-production. Which seems to be, it's still headed towards the right path. But since it's still in pre-production and the deal solidifies 100% in January, I don't know. I mean, it isn't too far-fetched for Disney to just pull the plug. So, you get that. You get rumors about Deadpool, and now with like the stuff that's happening on Netflix, I think this is going to be, we're going to start seeing a lot of these things happening to where Disney is going to start becoming, the Dark Galactic Empire.
Here's what I think, though, should happen.
Okay.
Logically speaking. And I'm talking purely on a business perspective. With the exception of everything superhero, I think other companies should come and buy these properties. Kingsman could be acquired by, let's say, Warner Brothers or Universal.
Or Warner Brothers.
Or whatever, and so on. And so that these franchises can live on and have a life of their own, and they are profitable. And Disney will be making more money that way, I think, than if they keep it at Disney and Mickey Mouse the heck out of Die Hard or Kingsman or whatever. So I think that would be the most logical solution in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's just scary to see all these pieces moving and we expected this. We definitely
and with
definitely
Deadpool, we're going to see
expected
this at Christmas. They're testing
they're testing a PG-13 Deadpool
with 30 to 40 minutes of extra
new
footage.
content and footage and all
Exactly,
that stuff. So I don't know, man. I don't know. The world is a changing.
Mm-hmm.
The tide is shifting.
The world is Mickey Mouseing.
Drink up, me Mickey Mousing, yo ho.
But there are a couple of quick things I just want to say very super quickly.
Sure.
Yeah. So you talked about John Williams at first.
Yeah.
So we do hope he gets super better soon.
Absolutely.
Because Star Wars is right around the corner, and we're selfish people, and we want him to compose the last one and live forever. Actually.
Yeah.
So that's one, and two. We're talking about the possible dates of Avengers, the trailer. Mm-hmm. So. It seems that December-ish. Yeah. That's what people are saying.
Yeah, that does seem to be the date.
Yeah, I hope so. I can't wait.
I mean, that teaser is going to be quite epic. Yeah. Quite epic. It's gonna be worth a snap. Here we are finally at the Lebanese box office breakdown. So let's get into it real quick. Let's not waste too much time. In at number 5 is Goosebumps 2 with 3,694 entries this week.
Yep. At number 4, you have Mr. Venom, who is
still here,
still here, and doing well. 6,363 for the total week. 6,363. Yeah, and has made almost 40,000 entries in 3 weeks.
Yep. Number 3 is still my favorite film so far from this year. A Star is Born with 7,024 entries this week. Could you spot me with the total so far?
Of course. It is just half a second. 17,000 entries around that.
Okay.
3 of them are mine.
In at number 2?
Number 2, you have Johnny English, who's also doing really well. 9,635 entries with a total of 87,000 entries.
I mean, he did strike again.
Yeah, people like Mr. Bean. In their head, it's Mr. Bean. That's a thing.
And finally, still at number 1, only to prove Hadi right from last week, is Nadine Labakay's Cafarnaum with 16,682 entries this week and a total run of
131,000.
Well done, Lebanon.
So
well
happy.
done,
Bravo.
Cafarnaum team. Let's dig into it. It's still very interesting. I'm super happy that Cafarnaum is still number 1. That's for sure.
I still think it will be, even though there is some competition next week, but I do think it'll clinch the first.
Yeah, I do not think it's going to be enough competition though.
Yeah.
It will be an interesting. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very interested to see how Bohemian Rhapsody is going to do in comparison to A Star Is Born, because overseas the critics seem to be mostly unhappy with the film.
Okay.
So it's. I'm not going to get into it too much, but that does seem to be the case. So I'm curious to see if a Lebanese audience is going to attach itself to this particular film or not.
It depends how
more
many,
so than A Star Is Born.
It also depends on how many Queen fans you have, because it is Freddie Mercury's story.
Yeah, but you know Lebanon is a big fan of that era of music. I think you've got a lot of Lebanese people who are interested in Queen. I know that for a fact.
But is it enough? That's the question.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to see.
We'll find out next week.
We will have to find out. And as far as, I mean, the surprise here is Goosebumps 2 making it up to number 5.
Actually, it makes sense. It's a kids'
Halloween,
movie. Halloween,
kids, yeah.
And First Man is at number 6.
Yeah, First Man isn't even in the top 5, which basically matches what it's been doing around the world.
Yeah.
Which is that critics seem to love it, audiences seem to not.
Yep.
So it is very interesting here. And Johnny English, man, Rowan Atkinson, what a man.
Yeah. I feel he's like good guy, funny person, nice person to hang out with.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to go to a pub and sit and chill with Rowan Atkinson.
Have a pint with him.
Have a pint of beer.
Yeah.
And Venom's still at number 4. I can't understand
But again, it's logical. Look, I've had endless conversations because I don't like it.
Yeah.
And people like it. So there's this ongoing debate about this film, but people are enjoying it.
People just love debating.
Yeah.
Kind of like we did a little earlier. Oh, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about as far as the box office? I mean, it's pretty much settled now. Yeah. Unless something really drastic happens next week, I think we'll be having the same conversation.
I think it's going to be pretty much similar with the entry.
With the entry of Bohemian Rhapsody.
And
Nutcracker?
Nutcracker in the form.
I'm interested to see how that competes next week, because it is a very Christmassy film, and I just don't think we're in that mood just yet.
Yeah, but it's also a Disney film, so that sells.
True.
It's targeted to a younger audience.
Younger girls,
I think ballet classes are going to be watching
ballet,
it,
and it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting. Okay, on to Script to Screen Recommends. What did you have a recommendation for us this week, Mr. Hadi?
So I didn't have lunch today, and I told you that, and I'm really hungry. And I had a recommendation, and then I shifted it to another one.
Okay.
So I'm recommending Chef.
I knew you were going to say, I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah,
because I know how much of a Jon Favreau fan you are.
I love Jon Favreau, and I really love this movie because, again, we go back to the everlasting heart. Heart. It is such a happy movie, and it's such a unique bond between Jon Favreau and his son, and that road trip he takes. And even if I was stuffed and I had eaten, I don't know, like Christmas dinner, and I put Chef on, I will get hungry, man. I want those Cubano sandwiches. And the music is super nice in the movie. It's fun music. It's just full of life, positive vibes. This guy getting his life together, Michelin star chef, goes on the road in a food truck with his kid, and it's such a nice movie. It is one of those movies when you're having a crappy day, just put it on DVD or watch it on Netflix or wherever it is, and just see what happens to you.
Speaking of crappy days, we didn't get to mention this a little earlier, but there has been a theft on the Mandalorian set.
Yes.
Really quick, which I'm sorry for Jon Favreau for having to deal with this, because now they're panicking that whatever was stolen, it's actually equipment, and some of that equipment is a few cameras, and they're afraid that there is sensitive material on those cameras. So I really hope they find them, and the Mandalorian doesn't isn't tainted by the dark side. Let's just say that. As for my recommendation this week, it is going to be a little predictable, but here it is. Anyway, I am going to recommend Pirates of the Caribbean, The Black Pearl.
I thought you were going to recommend Daredevil, by the way.
I mean, the series?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's kind of a given. We spoke about it. But no, I am going to recommend Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, the one that started it all. It's such a brilliant and fun film, and it does have a lot of heart, great music, some great sequences. It's just stellar. It's a stellar film. I don't want to delve into it too much and talk about it too much, because I mean, it's
a classic.
Yeah, it's literally a classic, and if we're about to enter into a new age of new Pirates of the Caribbean stories with new pirates, might as well bid Jack Sparrow a farewell the right way with The Curse of the Black Pearl. On that note, we're going to end our episode today. Thank you guys for joining us. Our screeners always devoted. We love it when you guys share your posts on social media and you tell us that you're listening to us and that you love our conversations and what we tackle. I just actually received another message from one of my friends who just told me, she's like, I'm loving your podcast.
Wow.
So I think, I mean, we're
really,
super happy. Lebanon, you guys are killing it. With our podcast, which is amazing because we have around 108 subscribers from Lebanon. It's the toppest, it's the number one in the geo distribution. It's the number one spot right now, with Sweden second. Hello, Sweden.
Hello, IKEA.
And the UK, and then the US and a few other countries that follow. So thank you so much. If you want to follow us on social media, specifically on Instagram, you can do so on my end at Alan Mahana, and
on my end, had.solo.
You can also listen to our podcast on
Remy, Spotify, Podchaser, Podbean, Apple iTunes,
and wherever your podcasts
anything,
can be heard.
Wherever
We're going to be doing a massive, outreach to spread ourselves on more platforms regarding a podcast. You can also watch our show on YouTube. Yeah. You can catch our film analysis on my IGTV channel. You can also catch my mini conversations live on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/script2screenpod. There won't be one this week, but we will get back into it next week. This week is a little crazy. We've got a lot to do and a lot to watch. We've got 2 premieres this week, which is exciting. The Nutcracker and the Four Realms and Bohemian Rhapsody. So we're super excited. We're going to get to see those, but both Had and I need to kind of talk about it. So are we going to do 2 movies of the week next week?
I think we should
Okay. So this should be interesting for next week.
We'll see how we'll cut it out.
We're going to have to figure it out. Maybe, talk less news to give both of those films.
Absolutely. I'm down for that.
Enough time, because why not? Yeah. Right? Why not? So again, thank you guys for listening to us. Make sure you reach out, contact us. We love hearing from you guys.
Any suggestions you have, anything you want us to talk about, we're ready. We are super ready, and we love constructive criticism, and we love you guys. You're the best screeners in the world.
Well, they're the only screeners in the world.
Oh, they're the best ones.
So thank you again, guys, for tuning in. As always, make sure you go to the movies, support cinema, and watch our recommendations and let us know what you think. Maybe even share your recommendations.
Yes.
From Radio Lebanon 96.2 FM, I'm Alan. This has been Script to Screen. We will see you next week.
Bye-bye, guys. See you.